Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Of course, double honors once again go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who continue through the Holy Spirit to teach us this truth. This is Nama of the DC camp, and this particular video is going to readdress a story I did when it first came to light um, down in Georgia. And man, this is just fucked up. This Jake is still in. He was denied bond. All right. Let me just go ahead and read it. It says, "So-called black drivers stand your ground case." Now remember, in some of these states like Georgia and Florida, they're big on that castle doctrine, otherwise known as stand your ground. All right. In this case, it's. But anyway, we'll get into it. It says, "Black drivers stand your ground case highlights racial disparities in Georgia's criminal justice system." All right. And this is by the Reverend James Woodall, news1.com. And it says the pretrial immunity hearing for William Marcus Wilson put into perspective the real crisis of Georgia's legal system. Wilson, who is black and was with a white woman during the incident that led to the death of Haley Hutchison, has been sitting in pretrial detention for over 400 days. Let me repeat, Salaki. He's been sitting in pre-trial detention for over 400 days. Now, like I said, he was with a white woman. That was his girlfriend. Uh, and this is something that you got to remember. We are not in our kingdom. This has always been a big, how am I going to put it? This is one of the big things that pisses this devil off. All right. We all know that he can be with a woman of your nation, but oh, don't you try to do that with him. Oh no, that's a pet peeve of his. All right. It says, initially denied bond, Wilson's legal counsel filed a motion to reconsider bond in December 2020. All right, and yet the judge still has taken no action on that motion nearly a year later. It's October of 2021. Damn. Let that sink in for a moment. In a system that claims people are innocent until proven guilty, a young man sits in jail without so much as a clear ruling on bond because the judge refuses to issue a decision. So what's the deal here? They couldn't have this guy, I don't know, recuse himself because he's evidently have some prejudice toward this guy here. So what's the deal? Let's see if they'll explain it. You know, and this is pre-trial. It says, maintaining his innocence, Wilson insists that he was in fear for his life after a truck full of drunk, white teenagers tried to run his car off the road while screaming "nigger lover" at him and his girlfriend. The group also threw presumably empty beer bottles at Wilson's car. Not one received even a citation for driving under the influence. There were no repercussions for riding around with open beer bottles in the truck or drinking, purchasing alcohol while underaged, all of which they admitted to law enforcement at night. So they admitted these things, and yet, like it says, not even one citation was issued. But as the immunity hearing approached a close on the second day of testimony, I became horrified as basic constitutional protections seemed to disappear right before our eyes. Protections like the right to legal counsel, due process, and that's the big thing, due process. All right, like I said, they asked for the judge to reconsider his bail last December 2020, and no movement on it since. Anyway, it says protections like the right to legal counsel, due process, and judicial impartiality, which I mentioned. Why not? He has recused himself or herself. I don't know who exactly the judge is. Impartiality appeared in question. Wilson's defense counsel discovered that Judge, okay, it's a him, Michael Muldrew and District Attorney Daphne Totten had improper communication during the trial. All right, that's grounds for. This is just fucked up, man. Damn. But this is America. Why even get upset? We know the deal. It says instead of using the proper procedure to acknowledge the mishap, they attempted to cover it up without notifying the defense, giving the appearance of judicial impropriety. Exactly. It says the district attorney submitted evidence to the judge never shared with Wilson's defense. And when it was brought to the court's attention by the defense team, Muldrew held Wilson's lead defense counsel, attorney Francis Johnson, in contempt of court. So they intend to try to at least, I don't know, as we know, this whole thing is falling apart, but it's sure that they are going to attempt to railroad this guy. All right. Remember, he's in Georgia. He was with one of them cave bitches. And like I said, on their own set, they really don't like that. All right. Like, damn. But let's get some scriptures real quick. Because Jake expects, well, first of all, I don't know. Of course, I do not know this guy, this Jake here. Don't know if he ran across some videos or whatever. But, wow. This is, damn. Psalms. Actually, this is Psalms 42. Oh, man. Actually, let's go to 43 and then I'll backtrack and I'll explain. This is Psalms 43 because you expect too much of a base man. This man was set up, all right, to be the Most High's sword against us. All right, you got to understand that. Psalms 10, Psalm 17. All right, but let me read this first. It says, Psalms 43 and 1 says, "Judge me, O Most High Yahweh, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation." This is who we're dealing with. That ungodly nation, of course, is Edom. All right, descendants of Jacob's brother Esau. All right, it says, "Plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." This is who you're out here constantly marching up and down the street. All right. How did that work out so far? Exactly. Walking in circles, walking up and down the road, some with misspelled signs. All right. And they just do a little something here and there just to shut you up. That's all. Verse 2, "For thou art the God of my strength, why dost thou cast me off?" And this is what it feels like sometimes. But you got to remember, we're under the curses also. Even though where our punishment is ending, guess what? These Edomites, they're starting to feel it. Why go our mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy. And that's the key word. He is our enemy. From the womb to the tomb. That's how it's set up. All right. "Oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacles." All right. Now, this also is an extension of 42. That's why I read this first, because let me scroll down here. "I will say unto the Most High, Yahweh my rock, why hast thou forgotten me?" Like I said, this is how it feels sometimes. Why go our mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy. "As with a sword in my bones, my enemies reproach me, while they say daily unto me, where is thy power? Why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in the Most High Yahweh, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my power." This is what we're supposed to do. Not looking for this devil to help. Like I said, he's an unjust and deceitful man. All right, I mentioned it in passing. Let's go to it. This is Psalms. Show you what I'm talking about. This is Psalm 17 and 13. It says, "Arise, O Most High Yahweh, disappoint him." Who's the him? That's the nation of Edom. Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right? These people are the wicked. Let's go to Malachi chapter 1. The burden of the word of the Most High Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Most High Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Most High Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. So the Most High hates these red bastards. That's actually what his name means. His translation from wasted away is he. What's wasted away? He has no pigment. So the blood shows forth through his skin, giving him the red appearance. All right. It says, verse 3, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and rebuild the desolate places. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. They shall build, and you see this all over. They just can think that everything's just going to continue in their favor. All right, and I'll get a scripture for that. They shall build, but I will throw it down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Most High Yahweh hath indignation forever. So, that cancels all that church shit about everybody can be saved right there. So, that blows that doctrine out the water. All right, now I mentioned, let's go back to Genesis 25. This is when they were born. And it tells you, starting at 19, please read it for yourself. But for time's sake, I'm going to go to 23. And this is when Rebekah was going to give birth. But there was turmoil. You know, women often complain, you know, when the baby kicks and all that. But this was more intense. And why? This is Genesis 25 and 23. It says, and the Most High Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, because she was questioning, why is this happening? What's going on? And here's the answer. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Esau is the elder. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, that's Esau, all over like a hairy garment. This is metaphor and simile. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him. Now we're getting into these next verses, into characteristics. But let's stay on this. And it first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Let's go to Exodus. Remember I said metaphor and simile. Let's go to Exodus 25, verse 5. It says, and ram skins, because this is what they did back in the day, dyed red, and badger skins and shittim wood. All right, so they dyed this, and this making reference to this as a the way he looked, as if they were dyed badger skins. All right, just as an explanation. All right, it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, clue, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Now let's go on that, because we're not talking about Urkel here. When it goes into describing, and these are characteristics to this day. All right, it says plain. Just want to help you, because these are identifiers. Helps you out. This is thumb. It says H, Strong's H, 8535. Perfect, complete. One who lacks nothing in physical strength. Beauty. Sound, wholesome. Does that sound like this devil? An ordinary, quiet sort of person. Complete, morally innocent, having integrity. One who is morally and ethically pure. Which was Jake. Pious, specifically gentle, dear. But what has he done? in the generations, well, up including slavery, what was the big thing to tarnish our image? And there's a scripture for that. Let me get that real quick, uh, so I won't lose anybody. This is Psalm 62. All right, and 4. It says, they only, now please read beforehand, I'm just going to it, all right? It says, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency, and that's what he has done with his, of course, belittling us. You know, when they call themselves white, and that was established since 1681 or thereafter, and all this was to lift themselves up and at the same time belittle us and mocking us and all this. And it has been ongoing ever since, especially in the later years up until now with, hey, when we, you know, with our music, and they know we are a musically inclined people, what did they do? Now this, I don't know what you would call it today, and our people just look like caricatures. They just came at us from all angles. And now, what about people? What is Jeremiah 2 and let's get that real quick. When we now, you know, this, well, I'll just read the scriptures. It says, well, actually, here's our mistake right here. It's going to go. It says, let's see. Yeah, start at 11. It says, hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? We want to be, and we have been taught, all right, to be anything except what we are. Everybody else can be an Israelite except the real Israelites, which is us. My people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit. All right, be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Most High Yahweh. And here's the point. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Remember, part of the curse would say what? We will be brought over here to worship gods of what? Wood and stone. All right? Now let me get down to the point. I'm going to skip down. Please read this at your own leisure. It says 19, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Most High Yahweh thy power. This is why the curses were put on us in the first place. All right, because every land we went into, and we were warned beforehand, start Deuteronomy 7th chapter at the top, okay, not to emulate these other nations. All right, what do? The book of Judges in itself, perfect example. It says, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Most High Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. And here's my point. It says 21, yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And this is our people, and they know this. That's why they come at us like they come at us. All right, let's go to Jeremiah. Is it 50? Hold on. I think it is. And 6. Yes, this is it. My people, this is Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep, and yes, we are. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. All these leaders that were set up by, guess what? Our enemy. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. I'm talking about various governments, these authorities that we were, you know, prone to believe in. It says they have forgotten their resting place. 7, all that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Most High Yahweh. The habitation of justice, even the Most High Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. That's why they're doing what they're doing, but they're finding out. See, there's no coincidence with the timing of this so-called pandemic. Reason being, they know what's happening. They see the sights in the heavens, all right, and they're scared. So they're rushing this. Revelation 12:12. Let's get it real quick. This is a good chapter to read from the top. It tells you who the woman is. That's us. That's the nation of Israel. And the devil. We're not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. We're talking about his representatives in the flesh, which are the nation of Edom. All right. Now I'm going to skip on down to 12. That's who's doing these things to us. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. They come up with this, it's not even elaborate, the scheme to get everybody to take this shot. And our people, out of fear, and this was that helped push this so quickly, it was blind fear. People not thinking, and the buffoons went on ahead and took this shit, all right, thinking that they, so socially conscious, all right, and they've turned it around. The people that said, wait, hold on, this man has never done anything for us. Why is he putting us first now? So these people now, I'm talking about amongst our nation, I don't give a shit about anybody else. So now we're being regarded as, they put the labels on anti-vaxxers, all right? They don't trust in our science. Well, your science is why everything is fucked up now. Even more reason not to jump and take that shit. You forget about Planned Parenthood and eugenics, all right? You forget all this shit. You, and I'm talking about our people, forget so quickly because you get a good job or some other bullshit, what he has always been doing to you. Trust me, he takes your past in consideration, how he treats you. Why don't you do the same? This is why a lot of our people are going to die horrible deaths for trusting in the enemy. And that's one of the scriptures. That's in Sirach. Let me get it real quick because I want to show it to you so you don't think, whoops. And then I'm going to get back to the article. This is Sirach 12 and 10. Don't believe me? Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. It says, never trust thine enemy. Let's read that again. Never trust thine enemy. The church doesn't teach you this. The church teaches you that to love everybody. That's why we tell you plantation Christianity is not of the scriptures. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And it goes into it. Please read. But for time's sake, I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to go back to the article. This young man has been sitting in jail, pre-trial, for 400 days. Over 400 now, because this came out on the 3rd. It says, Johnson, a noted civil rights advocate and attorney in the state, was detained for over 6 hours. This is his lawyer. His co-counsel was also threatened with contempt for refusing to allow the bailiffs to manhandle Johnson. If a judge can do this to an officer of the court, imagine what happens to defendants. This is the current state of Georgia and this country's legal system. Judges and prosecutors act without professional integrity because they do not expect serious accountability. What did I just read? Jeremiah 50 verses 6 and 7. That's why we encourage our people first to recognize who they are and recognize who their power is. It's not Jesus Christ. Most High's name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Those are the ones you should be praying to. Period. It says, though we call on specific actors such as Judge Michael Muldrew to be held accountable when they infringe on the rights of others through a perverted sense of power and privilege, there are so many others that go unnamed and unchecked. There are deteriorating elements of a legal system, particularly in Georgia's rural and coastal South, that are threatening the very sustainability of any pursuit of justice within our entire state. All right, Daphne Totten has illustrates this crisis. Also, District Attorney She failed in securing an indictment in the murder of Julianne Lewis. The Georgia State Patrol and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation both agreed that Lewis's death was murder. Taunton still refuses to release the video and audio of Lewis's murder by Trooper Jake Johnson. He said he's trying to keep this under wraps because, A, especially in light of the current situation and the way the people feel right now because of this pandemic, all shit's gonna break loose, alright? And for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if I can find anything. Let's see. It says young people like Wilson get dragged through the system. We all know this, with procedural delays in the broad realm of judicial and prosecutorial discretion standing in the way of just action. Reasonable fear of blackness is accepted, and we're not black, all right? But black peoples or Israelites, genuine fear of severe bodily injury or death is often disregarded. The time is now for bold ideas and a relentless pursuit of justice that respects the rights of all people. We've been dealing for this for hundreds of years, so it makes you think anything is going to change. That's why we keep, but you people don't listen. I was going to see if they had any, no, they don't have any comments, of course, but I like to get into those, like I say, get the pulse of the people. But of course, on this one they do not have it. But this is classic, and it should demonstrate that shit. What's that saying? The more things change, the more they remain the same. Prime example. Hey, so once again, this has been article on something I did a video on when it first came out. Like I said, it's been over 400 days now, and this man hasn't even he's still in pre-trial hold. This is fucked up. Alright, hey, so again, this has been Black Drivers Stand for Ground. Black Drivers Stand Your Ground case highlights racial disparities in Georgia's criminal justice system. Gotta get the fuck up out of here. Alright, so with that, hey, shalom.